Hey guys, welcome back to Calico's Garage. This is episode number 10 of the Falcon Project. And in this episode, we're going to be working on the interior, um, getting it ready for paint. Um, I wanted to work on the back end, but the rear end that I've ordered and all the associated stuff is probably about a month out. So we have a little bit of time to wait for that. So I decided that I would work on the interior, getting that ready, so that I can then build the roll cage, because you kind of have to do, like I've found with this, that there's a lot of things you have to do something before you can do something else. But then in some cases you have to do something else before you can do the something that you can do before what you want to do. So it's kind of a lot of figuring out what the next step is to do. But what we're going to do today, we've got the floor primed and everything. So I'm going to get the dash, the A-pillars, and on both sides, the roof, the doors, everything like that. Probably not going to do the back yet because I still have to do the mini tub. So that's going to get cut out and stuff like that. So I don't want to prime it and get it all ready and pretty if I'm just going to cut it. So mainly just like the doors and the ceiling and the A pillars and B pillars, and are there C pillars? I'm not sure. But if there are, those are also getting primed. And once I get that all primed, I'm probably going to have to wait at least a day for it to dry and everything. I know with some stuff you can prime it and then like within an hour or 30 minutes or something you can paint right over it. But I think I'm going to give it time because I'm really not in a rush. I'm going to give it time to dry fully and then I can start masking things off. The hardest part with doing that is going to be masking off the windows, making sure no paint gets on that. Although if you look at the windows, you can see that one of the previous owners who painted the car blue wasn't quite as meticulous about masking as I'm going to be. So there's a lot of overspray and stuff like that on stuff. So probably going to clean everything, mask it, and then start laying down the primer. If I think of anything in the meantime, I'll probably do that as well, but I will take you guys along for the ride as always. So let's get to it. All right, guys, I've got everything masked off and covered as best as it needs to be. We're not going for a show car, we're just going for pretty. You know, anything's got to look better than how it looks currently. So I think slapping some primer on and then some color is gonna kind of wake it up a bit. So now that it is all masked off, I'm gonna go ahead and start laying down the primer. And I think once that is done, I'm gonna call it for today and just let it dry overnight, and then we'll pick back up tomorrow. Well, guys, I got most of it done. I got the whole roof and dash, and then most of that door and this whole door done, but I've ran out of primer, so I'm gonna have to go to the store and get some more primer so that I can do the driver's doors and the rest of that door. The headliner, there's a lot of little fuzzy things that I didn't really do any sanding or anything, so before I paint, I'll probably sand where those little fuzzy things are, because they're a lot easier to see now that they're covered in primer. Okay, let me go get some more primer and finish the rest of the priming, and then I'll catch back up with you. Hey guys, okay, back from the store, got some more primer. I'm gonna go ahead and finish priming everything, and I'll get back to you. All right, got everything primed now. They didn't have the same type of primer, but primer's primer. Gonna let this dry overnight, and tomorrow I will see what needs done. I know I'm gonna have to do some sanding on the roof to get rid of all that fuzzy stuff. But the rest of it, I think I can just tape off where the different colors are going to be, and then I can start laying down the color. And like I said, it's not a show car by any means. It's just something to protect the paint from rusting and make it look prettier than it was, because it was looking pretty rough. So, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and go in now. So I will catch back up with you guys tomorrow. It is the next day, and all of the primer is nice and dry. Looking good. So I'm going to now start throwing down the color. Shouldn't take too long. I'll put you on time lapse and we'll get it done. All right, guys, that is painting done for the interior anyway, or most of the interior. I still have to do the floor, but I'm going to be doing a Raptor liner, kind of like a bed liner type paint on that. So I'm not going to do that until everything is pretty much done and ready to go. That'll kind of be one of the last things. But as far as the interior for color, that is what we ended up with. Let me turn the light on here. There we go. So yeah, that's what we came up with. The only additional part is over there. There are some, they're currently chrome strips that kind of held in the original door cards, but it goes kind of right along here. Then there's a bottom one as well, but I'm going to leave the bottom one off and just put the top one, and that's going to be gold. So it'll kind of go black and then a little strip of gold and then the red. That'll be on both sides, and then also on the two back. I keep calling them doors. They're not really doors. They're, I don't know what you call them. The back seat. The walls of the back seat. But yeah, so it'll go black, gold, red. That is kind of it. You know, like I said it before, I'll say it again, it's not a show car. It's designed to go fast. So the inside is kind of more function over form. The outside, however, once I get everything done, I am going to paint the outside, and that will look nice. I'm going to definitely take my time on that so that it comes out looking really good. This, it was just kind of slap some stuff on, so I think it came out really good. It came out exactly how I had it envisioned, so that's a plus. So now it is just going to be waiting another day to let this dry, and then I can move on. I think the next thing I'm going to do is start on tubbing out the back, but that will be tomorrow or someday in the future, not today. So talk to you then. Hey guys, so I've made a change of plan. I'm not going to do the wheel tubs now. I'm actually going to start working on the roll cage. I got the trim in there, so that's what that looks like. I like it. Anyway, so we're gonna start measuring things out to get the roll cage. I think that's probably the smartest next thing to do. We've got these base plates on both sides, 6x6, and I believe they're 1/8 inch plate. I really think that the cage is designed to go down here, but it's not tall enough. There's, like, if I set this up, you'll be able to see that there is a pretty substantial gap at the top if it's down here, because that needs to be like right up against the ceiling or close to it. So I think I'm going to have to go up to that next level, which means I'm going to have to chop a little bit off of these legs to do that. So I've measured both sides. They're both about 43 inches, which will give me about 1/4 inch from the roof. So I think that's a good starting place. I can always chop more off if I need to. So I'm going to get the legs measured and marked out and cut, and then we'll go ahead and test fit them in here and see how it looks and go from there. Alright guys, I've been working on the roll cage, trying to get that kind of situated, and I've decided that I'm going to have to make some rocker boxes for the main hoop to sit on. I've kind of been doing a lot of fabrication, I guess, and I've got the passenger side done. This is what I've come up with. And it is going to sit just like that. Once it gets welded in, it will be a nice solid foundation for the main hoop to connect to and go across. I'm going to have to do the same thing over there on that side. Hopefully it takes me a little less time since I kind of know the general shapes, but obviously the floor pans are going to be different on each side. You know, the metal's bent differently, so I can't just make a template and use the same thing on each side. I'm going to have to come up with the angles and contours for the other side, get that tacked together, and then I will be back. Okay, I've got now both of the rocker boxes for the main hoop of the roll cage. I feel pretty good about the way they came out. They look great. They should weld in nicely, be nice and solid. And it kind of splits the difference because I think they're designed to go here, but because the length of it, when I got it, it was not long enough. So it was going to go back here, which I had to cut some. But now that I've got this platform, it can actually go in a better position, but yet still be the correct height, if that makes sense. So I'm going to grab it and throw it in here and just kind of see how it looks. I'm not going to tack it in or anything right now because it's getting kind of late. So I'm probably going to just throw it in here, get an idea of what it looks like, and then call it a night and pick back up tomorrow. There we go. That is what the main hoop will look like in its position on the rocker boxes. And that is perfect. Got nice, even with the pillar here on both sides. I like it. It's really perfect, actually. The only thing I will need to do is trim the base of each of those at an angle, because obviously it's kind of tilted back. I have a tool to do that, to kind of measure the angle so that I can cut it straight. It's looking pretty good. So I'm going to call it a night, and I'll pick back up with you tomorrow. All right, so I've got the main hoop in again. I trimmed the bases of them so that they're at the right angle, and then I also kind of shaved around so that the weld will have kind of a gap to go into. The next thing that I need to do is put the seat in so that I can measure the... Oh, there is a spider. There you go. Okay. Okay. So yeah, the next thing I need to do is put the seat in so that I can measure the distance from the back of the seat to where the crossbar is going to go. That needs to be, I'm not sure the exact distance. The only distance that I am sure of is that the back of the seat, or I guess technically my helmet, can be no more than 6 inches in front of the main hoop. So kind of somewhere in this area, which is probably about where it's going to be, but let me go ahead and throw the seat in and get everything measured, and then we'll see exactly if I need to adjust anything. Seat is in, and as you can see, maybe if I can get the camera in there is probably 3 inches from the back of the seat. So my head probably is going to be about here. So that is going to be spot on perfect as far as where the main hoop's going to be. So I'm going to go ahead and tack that in. And then that's, I don't want to say the hard part's over, but that's kind of the foundation, so to speak, that everything else gets built off of. So once I've got that tacked into place, then we can really get moving on building the rest of the cage out and getting that done. And hopefully it's not too much of a hassle or problem, difficult. I'm hoping that there's going to be it's a 850 cert cage, which means that it's a 10 point, so there's 10 points of contact with the structure of the car. And the 850 means that once I get it certified, I can legally go as fast as 8.5 in a quarter mile, which I would love to do that, but I'm really not thinking that, at least right away, that this car is going to do anything that fast. If I break a 10-second, I'm going to be ecstatic. So the 850 is kind of a little overkill. Maybe not, but for now, definitely overkill. But I would rather be safe than sorry, so definitely want to get that in there. So let me go ahead and get the seat back out and get this bar tacked in, and then we can start measuring the other stuff. Alright, the main hoop is tacked in to place, both sides. It's a little wobbly, but it isn't going anywhere. So now we can work on the main, or the top hoop, or the halo I guess they call it, and get that measured up and start going for the rest of the cage. It's been a little bit of trial and error and fitting and cutting and grinding and fitting and measuring and cutting and measuring some more and grinding, and you get the idea. But I have the roof hoop fitted and ready to tack in, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that right now. All right, a few little quick tacks, and the halo bar is in. Hey guys, pretty frustrated. This cage is not going as easily as I was hoping it would. The main problem that I've run into is with the A-pillar bars, just because of this angle, trying to get it 90 degrees up this way, but then also angled and then notched to fit there. I spent, no exaggeration, about 5 hours trying to get those fit, and all I ended up doing was cutting too much off, so now they're too short. So I've got these here. You can kind of see some of these funky angles that I've cut, but they're both too short now. So I'm going to have to, unfortunately, order 2 new ones. Totally my fault, but it's something. After I bought this cage, this is a Rhodes race car roll cage kit, and I bought it because it was the cheapest, which, shame on me for that. But after getting it and doing some more research on how to do or connect certain parts of it, I found that apparently they are cheap for a reason. Everybody that I've seen online who's posted anything has said how hard they are to get the tubes to fit together. Obviously, if you get a more expensive kit, they come pre-notched and pretty much the right length. So all you have to do is just put them in the car and weld it together. Those are, thousands of dollars to get one of those kits. And they really don't have any kits like that for the Falcon. The actual kits you can buy are pretty limited and they all look identical. So it's kind of stuck in this configuration. So I'm going to have to figure that out. But in the meantime, I was able to get the crossbar in, but after getting that in, I realized that my seat, I thought, was in the right position. It was actually too far forward. So what I came up with was these brackets to, oh, that's hot, so that I can, mount the seat to these and bring it back. So it's going to be 2 inches back from where it was. And I just did weld these in, so these are super hot, if I do say so myself, dimes. But the problem now, it's like you fix one thing and then you break something else. This crossbar, where it was with the seat in its previous position, was fine, but now with it back, it's actually down too low. So thankfully, I've only tacked it in 2 spots on either side, so I just have to grind those tacks, and then I can raise it up and then tack it into a better position. I also had attached the seat bracket, which goes here and then attaches to the back of the seat, so that the seat itself is attached to the base, and then it's also solidly attached to the crossbar. But now these tabs are in the wrong spot, so I'm also going to have to grind those out and put those in a different position. So not a big deal, just extra work. But I really don't have anything else that I can do with this until I get those new down bars. So I guess that is what I do. Oh, I did get a couple of packages delivered, though, which are pretty awesome. Come check this out. Quick performance. Got my aluminum center section. And today, I just got the rear end delivered. And that is a thing of beauty right there. So it's a Ford 9-inch, 35 spline axles, and it's I got all the bracing in it, so it should support up to 1,000 horsepower. I don't think that I'm going to be making that much. I'm hoping somewhere like in the 700 range, around there, but at least it's rated up to 1,000 horsepower. So if ever in the future I want to spice things up a bit, I'll be able to safely without having to worry about breaking stuff. So I'm going to quit yapping and get that crossbar cut out, the tabs cut off, and get it put back in the right spot. All right, I've got the roll bar, got it cut back out and raised up, and I leveled it. Got a digital thing over there, and I had leveled it previously, but I'm not sure if it was just off or if something moved before I tacked the other side. But this side here, you can see where the bottom was, and kind of the shape of it was here. So it's like almost a full tube higher than it was. But on this other side, it was, actually I have to take this off, the bottom was right there. So it's just a little bit up, but it says it's level. And if I measure from like where this bend is right here down, it's about the same on both sides. So apparently it was not only too low last time, it was also not level. So it's good that I'm moving it. But I'm going to go ahead and get it tacked in, and then I will measure for the seat bracket. All right, guys, I got the crossbar. Ooh, it's hot. I got it tacked in, and I also went ahead and fully welded the seat bracket mounts because they're not going anywhere. That's where they're going to end up. So just save myself a step. And I think I'm going to go ahead and end this episode there. We're kind of in a holding pattern until I get the new front down bars to weld in. And so I guess I will do part 2 of the roll cage install on the next episode. That will involve obviously tacking in the front down bars, and then I'm going to have to untack all of this on both sides, drill a hole, probably like a 3-inch hole below this on both sides, and then also where the down bar comes down in the front onto this plate here. Underneath the plate, I'm going to also drill probably a 3-inch hole. That way, once I have everything tacked in, I can drop the cage down, and it'll probably give me like a good 7 or 8 inches more clearance up in the top so that I can weld the top. And then that seems to be kind of the most common way of doing that, because otherwise you can't really weld around the top easily. So typically dropping it down is going to be the easiest route to do that. And then once you've got all this finish welded, then you just raise it back up, slide the plate underneath, and tack it back in. Or I guess at that point you're done, so you're just going to finish weld it all in. And then once the main structure of the cage is done, I can do the bars that connect here. I guess I'm not sure what they're called, subframe bars or something on both sides. And then the bars that attach to the back and go that way. And then obviously the door bars. So there's still quite a bit to the cage that needs to get done, but until I get those front down bars, can't really do anything else. So if you've liked what you've seen so far, go ahead and give it a like. If you really liked it, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and click the bell for notifications for when the next episode comes out. And with that, I'm Chris. Thanks for watching Calico's Garage. Bye.